Good morning. My name is Kristen Pegg, and I'm the Career and Technical Education Coordinator for the district. And I want to go ahead and introduce the amazing team that collaborated to make this presentation happen. So if you'll stand when I call your name. Bob Madden, he's with the Center of Professional Development, along with Tiffany Lycock. Jamie Bailey is in the World Class Education Department, along with Holly Voorhees Carmichael and Remy Rummel. And if I get your name wrong, I'm sorry. Christian Drury is with the Center of Professional Development. And who else? Judy Arneson is the amazing video person, tech person that helps us out with all that. Kim McMonigal, as you're sitting over there. Hello, Kim. Where's Liz Walhoff? Hello, Liz. Okay, so all these people, have I forgotten anyone? Oh, Gretchen, I'm so sorry. Gretchen, our math person in the curriculum department. So yeah, huge effort to make sure that we delivered just a great presentation for you today. These people are resources for you. Grab them today. If you're in a place that you're like, okay, what the heck is going on? Grab them. That's what they're here for. And hopefully you'll walk out of here today feeling even better about your knowledge of backwards planning. So with that, Pat took care of the purpose. Hopefully you got that. We really do. It is that trainer of trainers. We want to equip you. We're giving you your toolbox here today, and we want you to walk away feeling more confident that you can take this back. You can be the expert in your building. And we all know that experts are continually learning as well. So we keep improving, and we hope you do too. The norms. We really hope that you walked in here today with everyone having positive intentions for what's going to happen here today. And just being open-minded and being flexible and just, you're here for a reason. You guys are the cream of the crop, right? But we just really hope that you can just really keep that positivity going in your minds right now as your brain's going to explode probably by the end of the day. Another one of the norms is just be aware of everyone's voice. And be open to listening to everyone's voice. The normal stuff, we're professionals. If you need to take a phone call, we understand. We just ask that you step outside. Restrooms are right there. At any time, feel free to get the tea and coffee, those kind of things. Are there any norms that you would like to bring up? And because we definitely want to honor your voice in this. Any? My biggest thing is that, when we do gather us back together, there'll be plenty of time to collaborate today, but we ask that when you do come back together, everything we're doing today is very intentional. So we ask that we just, we give each other, the utmost attention when we can. Moving on. Understanding and creating all three stages. That is the purpose today. We hope you walk out of here today with a much more in-depth knowledge of backwards planning, hopefully, than what you walked in here with, because we're all at different levels. And as the people in your table today, hopefully you can support them as much as we can support you. Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you. Now, we are modeling what we want you to do, but we can't change the circumstances of the internet at the moment. So if you'll notice up there, we have an Edmodo group code for you to go to if you haven't done that already. I know you got your email yesterday directing you to do so. If you didn't, that's fine. We are sharing this presentation with you. And remind me, where is it? Yes, it's in Edmodo as well. All the resources we're sharing with you today, you can get through that group code in Edmodo. So the actual presentation we're doing, you have access to. Along with, one thing we're asking you to do, even though you can't get to it through Google right now, we're asking that you do it on those plain sheets of paper we just handed you, is a 2-column note process. More of that metacognitive thinking where you're thinking about the thinking, okay? So what we'd like you to do on the left-hand side, it's the what. What is the instructional strategy we're using? What are we doing? We're asking you to be the analyzers. So the left-hand side is the what. If you want to just jot that part down. And I'm sorry, we had a model set up for you to start on. The God of technology did not want to cooperate. So the left-hand side's the what. The right-hand side is the why. And I'm going to frame this for you. It's not why you think we're doing it. What we're asking you to identify is why is it instructionally effective? Why is it an effective strategy? Once again, I can't stress to you enough, every chunk of this presentation is intentional, and we need you to present it with fidelity. We really want to deliver a common, consistent message across our district. So once again, it's the what on the left-hand side. What are the things we're doing, the instructional strategies, and that's the left-hand side. The right-hand side is the why. Why is it ineffective? Why is it effective? Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you, Judy. Okay. Go back. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Are we all comfortable now with that? And once again, once we get the internet going for you, Edmodo will have all these resources. Whoops. Is it going to play? Okay, the next thing we're going to have, just to kind of get our brain juices going this morning, is just making sure that we're gaining the perspective we need on why we're here. So hopefully you'll gain a little bit of perspective from this video.
The U.S. Department of Commerce ranked 55 industry sectors by their level of IT intensiveness. Education was ranked number 55, the lowest, below coal mining.
For the last 100 years we've used the industrial narrative. Schools are like factories, it's an administrative process, it's about control and order.
The kids are having a much more stimulating and rich environment outside of schools than they are in school.
Kids are very rich content developers today through their social networking sites. They're big communicators through email, instant messaging, and text messaging, and yet all of those things are banned from their schools.
Every turned-off device is potentially a turned-off child.
We have to accept as educators that technology is not really a choice. It has created a world. It's just not here to help you teach traditional subjects. It has invented, has emerged a completely new environment.
It's about relationship, it's about community, it's about connectivity, it's about access.
Children are living now in a different space. They're living in what I call nearly now. And nearly now is that space that they text in, that space that they update their Facebook entries in, the space that they Twitter in, the space that is not quite synchronous. Now, it's a really interesting space because it's not adversarial, it's not pressured. It's a space where people can, it's all the R words, they can reflect and retract and research and repeat, and it's a very gentle world. I'll tell you what, it's a great world for learning.
If I could remodel a classroom of today, I'm not sure it would be a bricks and mortar classroom.
So the student is at the center, and school is just one of the ways and places that they learn. But they also learn through communities, at home, in museums, in libraries, and of course online.
It's about providing the best quality teachers no matter where a student lives and making those bridges.
It's wandering around the city with their cell phones and collecting data that kids will be doing outside of school.
School might be the place where you come together to do joint projects, where you social network, where you do some of the other kinds of enrichment things.
We've got a classroom system when we could have a community system.
It's about opening the door to NASA resources, to the labs that are being developed online at MIT, and connecting these students to the kinds of opportunities that will fundamentally shift their academic experience and make them better prepared not only for college but for life.
You start with the teacher. If I want my students to be making global connections, then I'm going to give the tools to my teachers first and provide them with opportunities to connect with other teachers around the world or other teachers around the country.
The task here is to give teachers a place where they can swap authentic ingredients and their evidence that those ingredients are safe and tested. Do you know that doesn't exist anywhere in the world? I've just been part of a big project that I think is going to change that and change that radically.
We have to develop a narrative that sustains 21st century learning.
If we simply apply standards, if we simply have a steady regime of standardized testing, that will make things better. When in fact, it is economically actually a foolish idea, because the jobs that these kids in school will be having do not call for this kind of right answer vending machine approach.
Life No Child Left Behind fades away. It enables local creativity and innovations.
They will be doing work that calls on their artistic abilities, that calls on their abilities of synthesis, that calls on their abilities of understanding the context, that calls on their abilities of working in teams, that calls on their abilities in some sense to be multidisciplinary, multilingual, multicultural.
So the coin of the realm is not memorizing the facts that they're going to need to know for the rest of their lives. The coin of the realm will be, do you know how to find information? Do you know how to validate it? Do you know how to synthesize it? Do you know how to leverage it? Do you know how to communicate it? Do you know how to collaborate with it? Do you know how to problem solve with it? That's the new 21st century set of literacies. And it looks a lot different than the model that most of us were raised under.
Now we're looking at a whole different range of schools. We're looking at schools that are producing genius, collaborative, gregarious, brave children who care about stuff like their culture. And to build schools that do that is a whole another challenge. And around the world, people are testing out the ingredients of what makes that work. And those ingredients are being assembled into some just stunning recipes in different places. It's a very exciting time for learning. It's the death of education, but it's the dawn of learning. That makes me very happy.
Okay. A lot to reflect on. So with that, what we want to do, and even though it's just the beginning of our presentation, we're going to kind of guide you as to why some of the things we're doing today. So the first thing we're going to have you do is a think, pair, share. And why do we? A lot of good things to reflect upon. So what I'd like you to do right now, when you hear the music, would you stand up behind your chair, and then wait, and I'll give you the next direction. Perfect. Okay, the first thing we want you to do, we want you to find one person at your table at this time and just tell them, what about this video spoke to you? While the music's playing, feel free to collaborate. When you hear the music stop, if you'll stop and look at me, please. Okay, stop. Take a look at me. I heard some great energy. Hopefully that was good. Now, if you'll find someone at another table, so when you hear the music, you're going to find someone at another table, and this time I want you to share with them why you... Sorry, I just messed up. Okay. That's enough direction. So find someone at another table and stop and wait for another direction. Now, after you found your partner, will you please look at them and tell them why you think we chose this video and why it's effective? While the music's playing, please share. When you hear the music stop, look back at me. All right, stop. Would you please give your partner a high five and a positive affirmation? Fantastic. Find your way back to your seat and have a seat. Okay, thank you. Now, let me tell you some things I noted. It went from somberness, and I don't mean a negative somberness, but just went from very quiet when you watch the video. And as I saw you guys go back, not only did I hear high fives, but I heard laughter. I saw people playing nose goes. I mean, that's the kind of thing. You've got your brain juices going now, and you've been reflecting a little bit, and we've framed the day for you, hopefully. Okay? We have some great news. The internet is up and working. Fantastic. So, with that said, you should be able to get to your 2-column notes. If you can get into Edmodo, let's start there. If you can log into Edmodo, that would be the first place to go. Oh, fantastic. Yes, we can go back. Thank you, Tiffany. There's your group code to get into Edmodo, to get to the right place. Yes, please. Raise your hand so we can help you. Art Public? It's something Art Public. Art Center Public. Thank you. Once you've found it, if you'll just let me see your eyes up here just so I know who's still working and who's not. Thank you, Robin. The first letter in that is Y and not V. So if you're having an issue, it is Y, D as in dog, C, Q, G, N. Thank you, Holly. It's up front as well on the window. Perfect. Once you get into Edmodo, you should be able to see or have links to our presentation. It should be one of the posts there as you log into it. You will then see the links to everything we have that we're going to reference. So make sure you do get in there because you'll need it throughout the presentation. If you're having a hard time finding the presentation, if you'll scroll to the bottom, it's the very first post. It should say Stage 1 Backwards Planning. When you get into the 2-column notes, you want to click Use. Is that what you said, Tiffany? Use Template, yes. When you get into the 2-column notes, you want to click Use Template so that you can then save it into your Google Drive. And name it like you need, like so you can recognize it. Is anyone still struggling? Because we definitely want to get you there so everybody can be on equal playing fields. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to move us on. Catch Liz or Tiffany if they'll be happy to help you to get you up if you're just a little bit behind. But I am going to move on. Just to remind you one more time, left-hand side, what's the instructional strategy? Right-hand side, why is it effective? Okay. If I can have your eyes on the screen, please. Thank you. The purpose for today relates back to that video you just watched. To break from past practices and move towards teaching a world-class education for all students. Guys, this is all about, oops, it's not there. It's all about a paradigm shift. And it's being willing to go there. And that's why you guys are here today, and we appreciate that. And and you guys are going to be the leaders in your building to get the other teachers at all different rates moving the same direction. So that we understand that this is a paradigm shift. As well as what you have on this next slide, if you have our presentation open as well, but just, you don't have to go there, you can stay in your notes, that's fine. But what we want you to understand, we're doing the same thing we're asking you to do. We struggle through every backwards plan, just like you do. We backwards plan every presentation we do. We upgrade every presentation we do each time. So the first link would be, which one is that, the first link? Okay, thank you. So the first link is Dana Strother's backwards plan for this. So she is the Chief Academic Officer of Elementary, and she did the original presentation to all the administrators in your buildings. Sure, you can show it to them real quick just to give you a glance. Oh, good. Or not. Trust me, it's there, okay? Now, here's the thing. Like I said, we've upgraded it. So the next link underneath that, when we get it back up, will be a link to the backwards plan for stage 1. Okay, so Tiffany and Holly are going to help me with this piece with stage 1. So we backwards planned all of stage 1, all 3 stages within stage 1 to present it to you. What you want to keep in mind, your audience, your teachers, are unit designing. You, as a presenter and expert in the field, are going to be backwards planning for presentations. It's going to be a same, 2 different flavors, but same concept. So just keep that in mind. It's because yesterday we were sitting there going, you know what, it's going to be great to be in a building where we're going to have no internet problems, because the last time we were here, we had no technical difficulties, hardly at all. So it's probably because we were bragging about that. Thank you for your patience.
They can click on it in their presentation.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, if you want to go into the presentation yourself, we can still walk you through it, so we're not holding you up. And actually, I'm going to look over your shoulder to see what the next slide is. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. So once again, we gave you those links just so you could understand that we've struggled through this just like you have, as well as, you know what, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. So you have a couple backwards plans to work off of. And once again, we keep upgrading them, and so should you. You should customize them for your building, and that's what's important. You know your staff. in just a second, Tiffany's going to get us started with an overview of stage 1. Yes. If you want to just glance through the presentation to get to see what's to come, that's fine. And then we'll have Tiffany start us back in just a few minutes.
Where's somebody who works here?
I need to get in.
So what do you suggest? Trade computers? Or is it this? That's the problem.
I don't know how to turn this on.
Okay, that would be awesome if you could make it up there. What did you just do?
Yay, Bob. Okay.
Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and continue to move forward. We're at about slide 6 in the presentation, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on these pieces because we know many of you already have a very solid base understanding of what backward planning is, what the stages are, all of that stuff. So very quickly, again, as a brief overview, 3 stages of backward planning. Stage 1 is where you set your outcomes. Stage 2 is all about assessment. Stage 3 is about those sustainable world-class learning and instructional strategies. So, world-class outcomes, assessments, sustainable world-class learning and instructional strategies. How many of you guys have heard this from your staff in your school that they've been backward planning forever? That's how they do their jobs, right? I already backward plan. I think by the end of the day, you guys will see that right now they just kind of look like words, but world-class outcomes are truly pretty different from what we've been doing in the past. Those sustainable world-class learning strategies, we have them happening in this district all over the place, but consistently all the time in every classroom, I think maybe not so much, right? So these are some pretty significant differences between what backward planning looked like before and what it's gonna look like now. So keep that in mind as we talk through things today. As we look a little bit more in depth at the different stages, in our stage 1 outcomes, it's really made up of a bunch of different parts. Okay, the biggest and broadest part are enduring understandings. We're gonna do quite a bit of work with those in just a moment. Our essential questions that are designed really to provoke a lot of thought, right? They're those grabbers for your kids. You wrestle with those. That should say world-class outcomes. And we're always striving to integrate the 4 C's, right? For stage 2, it's really broken into 3 parts: formative, interim, and summative assessments. That technology integration is a really key piece. We're going to try to model that for you guys throughout the day today. And then stage 3, we have our sustainable learning strategies. We focus a lot on using higher order thinking in Bloom's, so the top 3 levels there. Creating, evaluating, and applying. We're really not focusing on that knowledge and skills, right? Knowledge and understanding. And then the world-class learning and instructional strategies, which includes technology integration, where students have the opportunity to use technology tools. All right, let's start with some enduring understanding. So we have some examples up here. Understanding impacts outcomes. Structure influences outcomes. And creativity and innovation are impacted by clarity of purpose. So as we were planning today, these are some of our enduring understandings that we chose that align with our training, right? These are ultimately the biggest, broadest things we want to get across to everybody during the day today. If you guys can take just a minute with your shoulder partner, turn and talk about how you feel these things, these big enduring understandings, how do they relate to backwards planning? Okay, how do they tie into the idea of backwards planning? So just with somebody next to you, just a couple minutes, how do these 3 enduring understandings relate to backward planning and what we're trying to do with it here in Douglas County?